Welcome to Roading with the Cardassians. This is roadie number 1, Nick.
This is Rob.
And this is Joe.
And we have 2 special guests. Special guests, may you introduce yourselves?
I'm me.
What's your name?
My name's Eli.
See, already, you said you know how to talk in the microphone, and you're already sucking at talking in the microphone.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, it's my own child. I can yell at him.
I'll do better. And I'm Sydney.
That was Eli, and Sydney did it, but she has experience. This is her multiple times on the podcast. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians, a proud affiliate of No Podcasting Networks.
As of now.
Because we're a strong, independent woman, and we don't need no man. Can I get an amen?
No. Amen.
Oh. Well, anyways, welcome to this special road edition of the Cardassians. We are here, and we are traveling down the road of Sandusky, Ohio. Why are we traveling down the road of Sandusky, Ohio, you may ask?
It's court ordered.
Yes, exactly. That's true. We committed some crimes, and our punishment was to spend a day in Ohio. And frankly, punishment does not fit the crime.
No, crime does not pay.
Crime does not pay at all. So we're in Sandusky because a couple days ago, Robert sent us a text, and in that text was a store that was a Star Trek store. And we're like, could this be real? Is this real? And I started looking it up, and we started Googling it, and it turns out it was. So what was this, Wednesday?
Yes.
Yes, it was Wednesday. So on Wednesday, Rob said, I kind of want to go here. Would anyone go? Right, Rob?
This is true.
This is true. Sorry, I'm narrating this experience. And as we did that, I immediately replied back, I'm in, and Joe was in. And then, of course, Sid was in, and then I told Eli about it, and he's like, yep, I'm in too.
And then the fun was over.
And then the fun was over. So we went to the Star Trek store, and it's actually the Federation headquarters.
Yes.
So I'm going to give them a little history of this first. Does that sound right? And then we'll go into talking about our experience. Sound good?
Okay.
So apparently the Federation headquarters was established in 1984 with this man by the name of Russ. Russ was friends with Mr. Gene Roddenberry, and they had a conversation, and they said, are there any good Star Trek clubs? And they're like, nah, bro. And so they're like, well, let's establish a Star Trek club. So with the help of Gene Roddenberry, Russ got to work on creating Russ Hastage, to be exact. Haslage.
Nailed it. Created
a real-world organization based on the ideals of the Federation. So it's this fan club that's throughout the whole world now, is my understanding. But he also has a store in Sandusky, Ohio, at the Sandusky Mall.
Beautiful facility, too. The Sandusky Mall.
Sandusky Mall is actually not that bad.
Sandusky Mall / car dealership.
Car dealership.
I've never seen so many cars indoors.
In a mall. So, anyways, the interesting thing is they are a 501c3 charitable organization. So if you donate to them, your donation, it's tax deductible, and 100% of your donation goes towards their humanitarian fund to help people.
Can we count our purchases as a charitable donation?
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way.
Right?
We do not divert any of your donation for administrative or operating costs. We pay our costs through the sale of merchandise in our headquarters and websites.
Wow.
So, this is pretty amazing. This was a pretty cool experience. We went there today. So let's start by talking about that experience. So let's start with this. Let's start with the teens in the car.
Well, before we do that,
okay.
So the actual group is called the Federation. You can find it at www.trekfederation.com.
Yes.
The store itself is called the Federation Headquarters.
Yes, sir. Thank you for correcting me. We're going to talk about this later, though, because you're not supposed to correct me on the podcast. It makes me look weak.
Well, then this is going to be a very short podcast. If we can't correct you, then what are we even doing here?
I don't even know. But anyways, let's start with that. Elijah, EB, as we're going to call you on this podcast. Call him EB. What did you think about your experience at the Star Trek store, the Federation headquarters?
I thought it was really cool. They had a captain's chair, and that was really cool. I could put the ship on red alert, and that was my favorite
It was
part.
pretty cool.
There was also tribbles. That was
Tribbles,
cool.
yeah. Though I will say, I got to give a little bit of shame to some Star Trek fans out there. My son is not a huge Star Trek guy, and he saw a tribble, and he didn't know what it was. And he's like, "What's a tribble?" And he got made fun of by the
what
Trekkers.
it was a Borg tribble, and I wanted to know if that was actually shown in the show.
It wasn't, ever.
And I got made fun of.
By a Trekkie.
I did.
That's not
It
cool,
was an
Trekkies.
STO.
You don't want to make fun of young fans.
Did someone really make fun of him?
Yes,
did.
someone made fun of him.
I did.
That's you did. Well, that was you.
Oh, was it just Sydney?
No, and there was another person.
Yeah, the other person was like, haha.
Oh, they jumped in on it because you were making fun of him?
Yeah. Well, it was okay. So I wasn't making fun of him. So I originally thought that he didn't know what a tribble was. That
know
was
what
that
a
was my
tribble
thought.
was.
Okay.
So that's why I was making fun of him.
Okay.
Which clearly is just
I've seen
just
Trials and
shit on him for that.
Tribulations, but not the original.
Hey, everyone, be cool. It's a popo. We're driving past
Oh,
we're
man.
driving past a police officer. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool.
I'm not wearing
Be
my
cool.
seatbelt.
Be cool.
Oh, he's
You
getting
can
out.
handle being
No
cool.
puff
got
puff.
his hand on
Oh,
his gun.
oh, he was ready to go. Oh,
That's a trucker.
I panicked.
He
That
had a
was scary.
sweet hat. Those are the cop hats that I want to see.
We need
like
to
the-
talk about those sheriff hat, those like cool round ones with like the Texas style hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. Anyways, never mind. I take back what I said about the Trek fans because Sydney started the making fun of, so they probably assumed it was okay.
It was not deserved.
It was probably not deserved, but
It was a misunderstanding.
nothing with Sydney is
It was
deserved.
it was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, whatever. Eli, how would you rate the store out of 10?
I mean, not being a Trekkie, I mean like a 7 out of 10.
Okay,
'Cause
cool, cool.
The captain's chair was really cool.
Okay, that was your highlight, the chair.
It was.
Okay, cool.
I enjoyed it.
Sid, what about you?
I thought it was awesome.
Is that your expert review?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they had a lot of cool stuff. They had like little setups. Like one looked like the the ready room,
Yep.
and then like the bar. It was pretty cool. They had a lot of really cool stuff. Very good prices too, I want to say. And yeah, I got myself a little mini cue
Mm-hmm.
and some notebooks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I made my friend jealous.
Oh, did you already text your
Yeah.
friend?
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
I set off some phasers.
Set
In his
phasers to
captain's chair?
stun. Yes.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty cool.
it was.
Pretty cool. What about you, gentlemen? What do you think?
It was a pleasant surprise. I went in there kind of with no expectations, and the guy was super sociable, which is nice. And I walked out buying something, which I did not anticipate. So, it had some. I could have used a little bit more merchandise, as we talked about, and you guys will probably talk about a little bit more than I will. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Wait, let me backtrack here. You walked out with merchandise which you weren't planning on buying anything?
No, not at all.
Dude, you can't go to a Star Trek store and not plan on supporting it.
You know, I already have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about supporting someone else who's living the dream.
Well, did I support
There's a
it?
lot of podcasts out there. People support us by listening to us.
Not if you look at our reviews.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Joseph,
Yes, sir.
what did you think, my friend?
I loved it.
Yeah?
I thought it was a nice store. I was actually surprised at the size of the store,
Same.
of the real estate of the store.
Same.
Like the square footage, it was a massive store for a mall. I think the other stores that were that big were also connected outside. Like there was a TJ Maxx and a couple other stores that were connected to this part of the mall.
Yeah.
I think as a store indoors, I think it was the biggest store in the mall.
Yeah. It was pretty
And-
close to it, yeah.
I do agree that I think Russ said that they had been open 5 months. So when you take that into account, the merchandise isn't there yet.
Right.
There was a fair amount to choose from, of both old and new merchandise. Like they had old figures from the 90s and stuff. They also had collectible stuff, and they had newer stuff, and a good mix. But they definitely had a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
To put more stuff, and it looked like they were working on a few things too.
Yes.
But overall, I thought it was great. The section I spent the most time in was basically the library, where they had all sorts of Star Trek books, and the prices were incredibly fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a great store, a great atmosphere. It was well lit. They had a nice selection of merchandise, and for being such a niche store, there was a decent amount of foot traffic in there. While we were in there maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And there was a decent amount of foot traffic.
I think that's what surprised me the most is that there was as much foot traffic as there was.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see that. And like, say what you will about Star Trek, but it's not the most pop culture thing right now. So to have a store dedicated to it with that much foot traffic was pretty impressive. And he says it's always like that on the weekends. So that's pretty impressive.
Is Sandusky, Ohio, some sort of like Trek mecca?
It is now.
That we don't know about?
Yes, it is now. Yeah, so I would echo your comments like about the store. I thought it was great. I thought, you can tell it's a store that needs
it's a work in progress store.
Yeah, it needs some work, but he has the giant Star Trek Enterprise that they're working on fixing up, and that'll become the center point of the store, which that alone will take up a lot of space and help.
That was so cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It'll make their merchandise, like, if they have more stuff in there, even just displays of other things, it'll help make it look more full than it really is.
And it didn't look like it was under construction. It just looked like it wasn't, like all the real estate wasn't full of merchandise or utilized to its fullest extent.
Yes.
Like it looked like a finished store, just
yes.
a bit more sparse than you would imagine.
Exactly.
But there's so much potential, and we talked with him for about 10 or 15 minutes, and he ran down on a couple of the things that they were doing to the store to add to it, and I think there are things on the horizon where I think he said within the next couple weeks or months that there are projects like the bridge that they're working on.
Yeah, they're constructing the original Era bridge for pictures, which we got a couple pictures in the captain's chair, which I'm sure Rob will post on.
You'll find them on our socials.
On our social media, but it's pretty exciting. It was a good experience.
It was. I mean, just the store itself, I think, was worth. It's about a 2-hour drive from we're in Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
So it's about a 2-hour drive to Sandusky one way, and as an experience, I think it was fun. It was definitely worth it. Getting to meet Russ and talk with him, and potentially get him to come on the show, potentially get to work with the Federation over on some projects maybe in the future. It was even better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my takeaway. Was it was. The store and the destination and the shopping and everything itself was fine. I think what the potential that it could lead to for our show is just like the cherry on top.
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree. It was pretty cool. I'm happy we went.
All right, that's the show. Bye.
That's the show.
Me too.
Have a good rest of the day. No, actually, so here's a conversation I want to have on air, live. Because we're slightly having this conversation on the way here. So on the drive from where we live to Sandusky, Ohio, you pass not one, but 2 nuclear power plants, nuclear vessels. You pass 2 nuclear power plants. And in Ohio, you literally drive like 50 feet from a nuclear power plant. Would you say that's correct, gentlemen and lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sydney's on her phone.
Yeah.
She's pulling a full Nick.
Yeah,
I concur.
She's not. Here's my question: what the heck are they doing having a road that close to a nuclear power plant?
Here's my question: why?
Why?
It was. It really was concerning how close we were to a nuclear power plant.
Yeah, I don't, and not because of the radiation stuff. I know they control that. I get that. I'm more concerned about idiots with weapons and bombs and whatever just driving into it and blowing it up.
That's 100% my fear is that, it's right there.
Yeah.
And it's easily accessible, too easily.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's not cool. And I'm not okay with it. And I think we should all write to the state of Ohio and tell them they suck.
The regulations.
I do that anyways.
Are those federal regulations or are they state by state?
About nuclear power plants?
Yeah.
I would assume it's federal.
I would assume that's federal.
I would assume so.
Eli says EB assumes it's federal, so I'm going to side with
then-
my son. Uh-oh. Speed check ahead.
If we get pulled over, we're doing it live on air.
I know we are.
Oh,
We're
God.
going to...
If we get pulled over, we are not. We should just get pulled over for the
For
we
the
got Patreon
podcast?
money to burn, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. We got tens of dollars in our Patreon account. Tens of dollars. Yeah. So, yeah. It was cool. Nuclear power plant. I don't get that. I do not get that.
It's just here in a second.
Yeah, we're going to pass it.
I'll
Yeah.
have Joe take a picture, and so I can put it on the internet.
Yeah. Put it on the internet, superhighways.
Oh, the nuclear power plant that's going to kill us all in 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. What else do you ladies and gentlemen want to talk about on this lovely trip?
I think we
We
should
have
change
to
my
talk
name to
about it.
Oliver Hazard Perry instead of EB.
No, we're not going to talk. My son has a weird, abnormal obsession with Oliver Hazard Perry from the War of 1812, and it's very
The
uncomfortable.
war no one's ever heard about.
No,
The
Everyone
greatest
knows
war.
about the War of 1812.
everyone knows about the War of 1812.
Everyone
The
does.
greatest war no one knows.
Everyone knows.
It's also not the greatest war.
It's a great war.
The Great War was World War One.
All right.
And it's greater than that.
No, it's not.
Quick, in order, your top 5 wars.
Yes,
Go.
top 5 wars, go.
The Mount Rushmore of wars.
The Mount Rushmore of wars. I'm
Nope.
going to have to go with Operation Iraqi Freedom is number 1.
War on drugs.
The war on drugs.
Oh, that's a good one.
The war on terror. The war on
one.
the war on aerosol spray cans to save the environment.
The war on wars.
What?
The war to end all wars. You don't remember that because you were not a
No.
child of the 80s.
What about the funk
we
band
were-
War?
Oh.
The R&B band War?
What about the song War? What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Huh. Say it again. Okay. This is a hot mess of a podcast,
No,
ladies and gentlemen.
Fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all fine.
Oh, Rob's got something.
Hey, Nick, didn't you see Argyle?
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you my review of Argyle. It's incredible. Okay, so Argyle, it's one of Apple's first movies that they're releasing to theaters, if not the first, if I do recall, starring Bryce Dallas Howard.
Wasn't the Killer of the Flower Moon an Apple movie?
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so that was maybe the second or third, right? Killers of the Flower Moon might have been
Yeah.
there first. Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston,
I love Sam Rockwell.
Henry
Cavill.
Cavill. They're all in that, so 4 great actors in there. And the reviews of it was getting panned in the reviews, saying how like cheesy and terrible it was. Look, I gotta be honest with you. Is this movie a thinker? Not really. Is the action realistic? Not really. But it knows what it is, and it's not meant to be taken super seriously. It's kind of like The Kingsman was. Like, you're meant to go into it and have a good time. And I don't think it's a coincidence that The Kingsman was done by Matt Reeves, and so was Argyle. Matthew Vaughn, Matt Reeves, sorry, thank you. I don't think it's a coincidence, and I thought it was really good. I would honestly give it probably like a 9 out of 10.
Damn.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I would watch it again. I thought it had really good twists and turns in it. I think what holds it back the most is probably the third act. It's it's almost a little too zany, but it's still fun. I mean, there's a scene where the lead character puts knives on her feet and ice skates on oil. And it's pretty incredible, actually. And
Okay.
figure skates and does like a quadruple Lutz. Triple sow cow.
Can we go see that movie?
It's really good. No, bro, you were invited and you said no.
But it sounds cool now.
No, you said no. She figure skates with in oil, and then she does other stuff too. I can't remember what else she does. Her cat was a weapon at points. Her cat saved the day, actually. Spoiler alert. But it's a good movie. It's worth seeing. You should go see it. If you've seen it, call us 734-494-0980. And
did they really mention the realism in the reviews?
They said it was cheesy. The action was cheesy.
Okay. Are these the same reviewers that are going and seeing every comic book movie too?
Right. Yeah. It's just nice to have an original property.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's the way I looked at it. Like, going into that film, I don't know the backstories of I know nothing about these characters. I know nothing at all, really, going into the movie. And it was just a delight.
Yes.
That's how I felt about Bullet Train last year, that no one really wanted to go see it, and it was getting dogged on. But it was an original property.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was action.
Yeah.
It just didn't get the respect I thought it deserved because it was something new and different.
Right.
Bullet Train's a good one. That's a good. If that was some sort of adaptation of something, some book or graphic novel or something, it would have been much more well received.
Agreed.
I thought that movie was fun. Fun, had a lot of action, had stars.
Well, and that's kind of how I felt about Argyle. It's a fun movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time,
we're passing the cemetery where all the people from the nuclear power plant.
Yes, exactly. It's a movie that has a good time, but it still has a good story to it. I thought it was a fun, entertaining story. I enjoyed the plot, and I think it's worth seeing. So you all should go see it.
If you respect Nick's opinion on movies.
A lot of us don't.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
true.
I don't really trust his opinion.
Nick
on
gives
anything.
it 3 pips out of 4.
Oh.
Yeah, 3 pips.
That
Ooh,
really
that would
hurts.
actually work.
That's just one.
Admiral's 5, right? Captain.
You have vice admirals and you have rear admirals.
But aren't those like half pips too?
I
Like,
don't know. We can look it up.
can't you have like 3.5 pips?
What's a pip?
Is this a show
The
meeting?
Star Trek
How do
rankings.
you not?
So when Boimler in the episode where they rips off his pip and then he throws it and Boimler goes crazy.
2.5
remember
years
that?
in.
I
Are we
love
changing-
Lodex.
Yeah.
Are we changing our rating system 2.5 years in?
We're going to need to do some research.
To pips?
Yep.
We can do that for other things, but not for the shows because we got to stick with our ranking
Why?
for the show.
I think it'd be better to rate Star Trek in terms of pips, wouldn't
But
it?
then
I agree.
Wouldn't you just have to go off of like 7 pips out of 10?
I guess.
Well, not necessarily. If you go with
We would have to redo our whole. We've already started season 1. What do we do?
wait till
Nobody
season
gives a
2.
shit about season 1, Nick. It sucks. These episodes are terrible.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even tell them what episodes we're reviewing.
Right segue.
Because nobody cares.
11001101
And Benjamin and the
Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which is also known as, I can't remember what it was known as.
Shorter season.
Too
short a
That's
season.
You know what it was? Too long an episode.
Hey yo, but So, anyone else have anything good they would like to discuss? Anyone have a topic of discussion that you feel like our audience needs to hear? Wow, awkward silence.
All right, if on a road trip, if you stop for lunch, you have the choice of Penn Station or Chipotle.
Penn Station subs
Chipotle.
or Chipotle?
What are you choosing?
Chipotle.
Neither.
Penn Station.
Okay, so Eli and I are the only two that chose Chipotle. We understand that it was a gamble. Anytime you mix,
That actually
beans
is a good point.
Beans and rice.
Can you recap our last road trip as to why that's such a risk?
Yeah, because Nick shit his pants on the podcast.
I did not. I did, but I did have sheets on the podcast.
Yeah, he sheets his pants.
I sheets my pants. Yeah, live on air. It was terrible.
It was borderline attempted murder.
Literally almost killed Sydney.
Yeah, it did.
There was definitely
I'm traumatized.
There definitely was assault that occurred in the car. Assault with a deadly weapon, baby.
Was this the nuclear power plant?
Oh, we're by the nuclear power plant. Everyone, be cool. Be cool.
We got a little bit. We got a little bit yet.
Got like
So
10 minutes.
here's my thing about Chipotle. I like Chipotle. I don't want you to mistake me.
Love it.
But I will also say that it can be very iffy depending on what Chipotle you go to. There are some where you walk in and you're like, eh. Kind of like Qdoba. Like there's some that are really nice and taken care of and some that look like they're about to fall down.
Hard disagree. Qdoba is the dollar store of Chipotle.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Qdoba is
Chipotle
hot
is way
garbage.
better.
How dare you? What gives you the right?
I've eaten it both.
I will say that this Chipotle was very salty with the guacamole,
Oh, we'll
But-
see. Oh, there it is.
but everything else was 9 out of 10.
How dare you?
It was still a 9 out of 10.
If you are a Mexican restaurant and you miss up,
Mexican in quotation marks.
if you miss up that stupid sauce, that guacamole, then you don't deserve to exist.
It's not messed up. It was just too much salt.
All right,
Yeah.
I will say this. As he was scooping the guac onto my burrito,
What?
it looked brown.
Oh,
Parts of it
dear.
looked brown.
Oh dear! And you were regretting your decision?
Yes, but I
Okay.
did not say anything, and I ate most of it until I ate about half the burrito until I was like, okay, I saw a little brown spot, and I opened it up, and then I ate it like a bowl, like a folded out bowl.
Okay. So
So I could navigate the questionable parts of
hey,
the guacamole.
hey, Rob, and Sid, do you feel like you had to not Sid. Rob, do you feel like you had to navigate your food to get the best flavor out of it?
No.
Yeah.
Sid, you don't count because you took the meat out because you don't like meat.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, she took the meat out because what happened? She ordered it without, and they put it on anyway. They messed up her order.
No, they
Chipotle
didn't.
never messes up.
Yeah.
They did put it on without your permission?
Yeah.
See?
How dare they? Okay, I didn't know they did that. You should
Chipotle
have said so.
always it never messes up.
No, they're as the
That's
kids
because
say,
you're literally standing there as they're doing it.
say it's quality control.
Exactly.
You're literally supervising them in the process. It's not like you're watching them in McDonald's as they're like, no pickles, and you see them start to put pickles on there, and you're
Listen,
like,
if
no.
If I order food from McDonald's, I've already thrown my hands in the air.
That is actually a very
I
good
love
point.
McDonald's.
I do love me some
It's
Mickey
assumed
D's.
responsibility at that point. You're just like, yeah, whatever happens,
It
happens.
is.
This
It
is like
is.
Dukes of Hazzard right here.
Just them good old boys at Porky's. You just
The
passed.
side of the car is so moist.
I don't know. That's a great question because we have the sun on our side, so the heat's. I don't know. Whatever.
What does he have to do with moisture?
They even warn you where the plant entrance is. Hey, do you want to come blow it up? Here's the entrance. I mean, what is wrong with these people?
That's like,
They've been living under nuclear power plant their entire lives.
Yeah,
Nick.
they have some brain rot. My goodness.
I could just take like a
200 yards away.
leisurely stroll over there.
You know what would be great? As if we're driving past this plant at this point, like this part of the audio gets like fuzzy and like drops.
That'd be so funny.
Kind of like the pictures of the elephant's foot from Chernobyl.
Security.
oh,
There's no security. There's no security.
No.
I'm sure there actually is.
You can almost
I-
count.
you
You can
just can't
almost
see it.
count the rungs on the ladder going up. You're that close.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do
do
it.
it.
Let's go. Field trip, ladies and gent.
How far do you think that is from right here? This is
Like
the
100
closest.
feet? 200
No,
feet?
that's
That's more than that.
that's probably Nick. A football field is 300 feet.
Okay,
So
that's
probably
2 football fields?
Yeah, it's probably almost 1,000 feet.
Okay, well,
You could golf a
Still.
golf ball right into that.
you could
Yeah,
golf
for sure.
a golf ball?
What am I gonna say?
Drive a golf ball, sir. I have
Hit-
failed you.
Get in.
Hit a golf ball for the love of God.
You drive it.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You drive the ball.
Driving it like needs wheels and a
No,
pedal.
you
No.
drive the ball. You know what you hit the ball with on the tee?
This is
a golf club.
A driver.
You golf.
A
Club
driver.
It.
This
You-
is an
you-
indictment on the public education.
My gosh,
system.
this
You
is
golf
unfortunate.
it.
You know, you drive it and then you putt it.
No.
You don't tap it.
Yeah, you do.
No, you drive
Putt it.
it and you putt it
Yeah.
with your putter.
You tap it.
You
You know we
chip
can-
it with the
you
chipper.
tap it
you
really
wedge it with
hard.
your wedgie.
We
You
could
tap
solve-
it really hard and it goes far.
You
ti-
solve this by saying you could hit a golf ball.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Doesn't matter. Not important.
that's what golf means.
I hate this podcast.
He's your
No,
son.
you hate me.
I
I've got a
love you.
question.
Yes.
Would you rather
No.
have unlimited bacon but no more
oh
video
my God.
games,
Rob,
or games?
what is going on here?
Unlimited games but no more games.
Oh my God. This is the bad parenting podcast.
I've been waiting to
I have.
do that for a while.
Never mind.
I want to go with the unlimited
Eli?
games, but no
Happy
more
hooker.
games.
Whoa.
Oh, happy hooker bait and tackle.
I mean, they really lean into the euphemisms here.
I like it.
I do too. The innuendos, I mean. Innuendos.
To be fair, you want your hookers happy.
I wouldn't
Hey.
know. I wouldn't know.
Otherwise, you get pimps involved, and then it just turns into a physical altercation.
Oh, that's very
You don't want your
unfortunate.
hookers to unionize. You want them happy.
Yeah. Well, on that subject, shall we move on, gentlemen?
How
What a
close
perfect
is,
segue.
How close is too close to live to a nuclear power plant?
If you could
This.
see it.
If you can see it, yes. If you can see it, you're too close.
Here's a question I asked Joe inside the Chipotle.
Yep.
So if the napkins are free, how many napkins do you need to take to make them not free anymore?
Oh.
Ooh.
That's actually a solid question.
Is it though?
It is. Think
I
about
thought
it.
It was pretty idiotic, to be honest with you.
No, but think about it. Like, if you go in there, the amount of napkins you took, I think is legit.
It's a handful, a legit handful.
But like,
now,
let's say you took out enough where you're like having to hold it like kind of like you're carrying like a
you
box.
get yelled at by the
Like,
people.
hey.
Or they're like,
yeah, but that
sir.
doesn't cost me any money. Getting yelled at is free. I yell at people all the time.
We know.
It is-
I know, but you're an idiot.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
I'm an idiot. It's free. I like to do free idiotic things.
That's true.
If my idiocy starts to cost me money,
America.
I really start to reevaluate what my actions.
At that point, it's just financially, it's financially impossible to be an
I
idiot.
think the better question is, do you really have a vehicle if you have no napkins in your glove box?
That's my car. I never have napkins.
Is
in
it
my car.
actually a
Why?
vehicle at that point?
I'm a monster because I always feel like it's clutter, so I throw it away.
Why don't you just have one of the little packets that you can get of them in your
I
glove
don't
compartment?
like that. I don't like having much
Why-
in my car. My car's fairly empty.
Why would you purchase what you could get for free?
Right at Chipotle,
Yeah.
because you're gonna need something
like,
to
what
throw
if
up
you
your
have to,
food
like,
into.
What if you have to
Chipotle
sneeze really hard and
Chipotle
it gets
napkin.
everywhere and then you don't have a napkin to clean it
I
up?
also felt like I should just warn you all that I am lactose intolerant and I had a milkshake.
Why?
I just want to put it
Oh
out
my
there. I
god!
just want to put it out there. I think we'll be okay, but I'm just warning you.
We all had milkshake.
I can feel the gurgling a little bit, but I'm gonna be
Sydney,
honest.
didn't you have a milkshake?
Yeah, Sydney did too.
Oh
She's
my
lactose
gosh.
intolerant.
No,
I thought you were.
that's not real.
She is.
You just drink
It's
your
not real.
milkshake slow.
Not real.
Did you finish your milkshake?
Nope.
Oh dear.
I love milkshakes.
So speaking of our milkshakes bringing all the boys to the yard, we're into
Ooh.
Star Trek.
Already?
It's a natural segue. So we have 2 episodes of Star Trek to review today. The milkshake brings all the Binars to the yard, and they're like 11001, 110001. So we're reviewing 11001101. We're going to start off with
11001001.
whatever it is, the one with a lot of numbers. So, episode is simple and easy. The Enterprise, which for multiple episodes has been talking about needing a computer upgrade, has finally made it to dry dock at the Star Base. And they are getting their ship fixed up. The whole crew leaves except for the skeleton crew, essentially. And the Binars come on the ship, and they're like, oh, the Binars are going to upgrade your ship. And they're like, okay, cool. So Riker says, oh, since I got some free time, I'm going to go into the holodeck. Riker goes into the holodeck, and a holodeck character pops up, and he immediately falls in love with her. And then Picard comes in, and he's like, hey, she's pretty cool. Let's stay and chat. And then they're chatting with them, but in the meantime, they have to evacuate the ship, except for a couple people were still on the ship, and those people on the ship were Picard and Riker because they were in the holodeck. They finally break out of the holodeck once they realize the holodeck character is trying to keep them there, and it turns out the evacuation of the ship was all a lie by the Binars. The Binars stole the Enterprise D because they were storing all their planet's information on the ship because a EMP was going to happen. And then they transferred all their information into the Enterprise. And once the EMP ended, they were going to retransfer their information back onto their home planet. The end.
23rd century, deceived by a woman. Some things never change. Just pathetic.
Why did they die?
Pathetic.
Why
on
did
their
they
part.
die?
They like
They don't die. Yeah,
Whoa.
there
Well,
is
who-
that
Kinda
part.
shut
What
off.
happens to them?
They just kind of shut off.
The
Like,
Binars.
they-
Yeah, when they
like-
go on the bridge, right?
that's why they had the password is because they were like, we're gonna die, so we had to leave this to someone.
We're all laying. Oh, because they were running out of information.
'Cause they were
Do you know
just
the answer
shutting
to
off.
this, Rob?
Oh,
Going into sleep mode.
Oh, Dad knows.
I don't know if I know, but I'm gonna.
were they going in the? Were they going in airplane mode? Did they go in the data saver?
I feel like they just like
lost
lost
all their data, so they're just kind of powering down, for lack of a better term. It seems like they got fed from this database on their planet.
That's
And
what
once,
I thought.
And once the database went dead, they went dead. So in order to fix the database, they had to upload the information, and then obviously they powered back on.
So they were sacrificing their lives in order to save their planet, essentially.
Even though they woke up at the end.
Even though they woke up at the end, because the planet never got hit with the EMP.
It did.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I watch
Seriously,
these
do you
episodes?
watch these episodes?
I don't know.
Because even the next one, you were saying something on the way here, and I'm like,
don't spoil it, sir.
oh my gosh.
Don't spoil it.
I mean, seriously, yeah, the whole planet was under duress. That's why they were stealing the Enterprise in the first place. It's the only thing that could hold the data in order to get the mainframe back up.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. Like, of all the ships, only the Enterprise D can hold it.
Oh, maybe in the area.
Maybe in the area, yeah, that's true. Because, again, this was another episode where they're like, the nearest starship is 66 hours away. And it's always like...
Why is it so far away?
Well, that's my question. It's like...
Like, you make it seem like they don't have any starships in their fleet. They have, like, way too many.
You know,
Right.
space is kind of infinite, right?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
but
but,
you
like-
also know the Federation is pretty big, and it's full of trillions of people.
Well, how many starships would you have to have one where they're right next to each other in a rural place of space?
Well, let's see. They're at a star dock here.
Yeah, I mean, look
So-
around us here in Ohio.
Starbase.
There's nothing.
So
Imagine space.
You're at a starbase. There should be at least one starship there guarding the starbase.
Again, there were 3 in dry dock getting repaired.
Okay, well, bring them out of repairs.
Why didn't they have, like,
Why
a
aren't
shuttlecraft?
they should have.
They said in the episode they couldn't
They
get it up for
should
18
have
hours.
ships ready. Well, if you can't get it up for 18 hours, you need to go see a doctor. First of all. Second of all.
That's 4hims.com, I think.
Do you think they'd sponsor us?
Second of all,
Good lord.
it is poor security that they don't have any ships ready to go
Why
in
don't they
case
have, like,
of
a
emergency.
shuttlecraft or something?
Right.
At least.
Thank you.
Or, like,
feel
something
like the
small, like, isn't it Defiance kind of small? Like, something small like that. Like,
But they didn't have the Defiant
well,
yet.
yeah, but, like, something small like that. I said like that.
Yeah, like the Akira class.
Yeah, why don't they have something
This
like
was
that?
one 45-minute episode. I mean, how deep do you need to these?
Wah, wah, wah.
Or
But,
Steam
like,
Runner class.
If it was hijacked, what is a shuttle going to do against the Enterprise?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
But at least they could get people there.
I guess that is true.
That is a good point. These are good points. I just feel like, I don't know. I've always hated that trope in Star Trek because that happens in Star Trek.
It's way too often.
The Into Darkness one, right, where the Enterprise is being attacked by the massive. What's the massive ship? The
Vengeance.
USS Vengeance, and there's literally no other Star Trek ships to help him, and that's at Earth, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah. If it's at Earth, that makes no sense. There should be ships there.
Yeah, there should be surrounded by.
Yeah, in Sector 1, I agree, during headquarters, there should be ships.
Sector 001, sir.
Wah, wah.
001. Get
Also,
it right.
In Star Trek, why is the first thing to always go down to warp away? Like, why is that always the first thing to go down?
They didn't warp right away.
They're non-confrontational.
They
It's right
impulsed
away.
it first, didn't they? Didn't they impulse away?
I don't know.
No, because I was just thinking about
Number
every
1.
other episode.
Warp away.
Number 1 warp away. So, okay, let's get into this episode though. All right, because this is would you say this is a Riker-centric episode?
I would say so,
Kinda?
considering the holodeck started with them.
The holodeck start. And they introduced the Binars. We haven't seen the Binars yet on TNG, right? Were they ever on the original series? Okay.
No.
So this is a new to us alien species.
But they definitely felt original series-y.
Oh, yeah.
They did very much with the way they talked and the way they interacted.
Yeah.
And I do know from reading production notes, those are children in the Binar suits and
Child labor
Child
laws.
labor.
child labor laws. Yeah, exactly. So also, like, how crappy is Federation? Here's one thing we've learned watching Next Generation. Their security is terrible. Just absolutely terrible. Worf is terrible. Tasha is
They
terrible.
should fire Tasha Yar.
The commander that comes on the station
Just
overseeing
you
the
and-
Binars is terrible. Like, does anyone know what they're doing in
What
Star
did-
Trek?
What did he even do? He was just walking with
The
them.
guy, he's like, here are the Binars.
He's like escorting them around.
Yeah. Well, where was he when they stole the ship?
off the ship.
You know.
Yes, some escort he is.
Heyo.
Hey, yo. So,
Things happen.
things happen, man. Things happen. So so basically this is a opportunity to show that Jonathan Frakes plays trombone. And
Yes.
That scene was very fake, though.
well, yeah, I mean they're not going to
No way he
record it.
played
I think he can actually
bet
play
you-
that
I-
good.
He
I would
can
like to
play
ask
that good.
John-
I just don't think he played that part.
I think he did.
I think he
He plays a trombone
he
player.
said when he was on our podcast, he did talk about how he used to play the trombone on
He plays
Next
the-
Generation.
He plays trombone on a Fish song.
Riker's mailbox.
Yep.
Yes. But he also admitted that he was in over his head. He got in, they gave him the music, and he's like, there's no way I can play any of this.
Well, yeah, it's Fish.
Yeah, it's Fish. What do you expect, right? You're gonna stink.
But yeah, I agree that this was probably a Riker-centric episode. I just thought it was funny how they're like, okay, we need to get Riker. We need to distract Riker somehow. What
is the best way?
Why Riker?
Huh.
Why Riker?
Because he's the easiest one to distract.
He
You put
is.
a pair of boobs in his face.
Yes.
He's like, all right,
It's,
you can do whatever you want. Take the ship.
Yeah, Riker walks into the holodeck's like, oh, right. Giggity, giggity.
Well, the funny thing is, he's like, at first he walks in, he's like, give me a jazz club in Kansas City. No, I mean New Orleans. And like the band appears, the jazz club appears. Let's make it more intimate. And then it's like one person. I'm like, okay, that's pretty hardcore.
And then he's like, make her more sultry.
And he like constantly is like evaluating her. He spends like 4 tries to get the woman right.
I know.
Of all the
So
things.
creepy the first few seasons.
It is creepy. This reeks of Gene Roddenberry.
They really write him like he's fresh out of prison and hasn't had sex with a woman in a decade.
I haven't had the conversation with my son yet. Don't say those words.
I think Maurice Hurley wrote this one, who is a holdover from the original series. So
Okay.
I think you get that vibe from this one and the next one.
Yeah, they do feel like original series episodes. I will say though, this one was. I wanted it to be a lot more enjoyable than it was. I felt like like when they're talking to this. What's the woman's name again? Something with an M.
Yeah, Mulva.
Something like that. Like their conversations are like, these conversations are so real and so engaging. I'm like, all she's doing is making you guys talk, which is like a typical man. Like, I've never had a better conversation because I've been talking about myself the whole time. It's true. We do like to talk.
I know.
We can tell.
You really like to talk.
Well,
much.
I stopped talking, and guess what? It was complete silence in this car.
Because you lead the conversations and you kind of just guide us.
Because everything
Segue.
And I'm
compares
driving.
to you is silence.
No one else. See, like Joe's not talking right now. You
I'm
want
looking up. I'm trying to look up the name of the lady, but I can't.
Marmalade,
Minuet.
Lady
It
Marmalade.
was
Nice.
Minuet.
Minuet.
Nice.
He's
Good
right.
job,
He's
Eli.
right. She had a.
At least somebody in the Bonsky house watches the episodes.
It's a
Except the
musical
second one.
term. Good job. Good
No
job.
one watched that second one.
No, you didn't watch the second one. Okay, so her name was Minuet, but the conversations did not seem like they were really that interesting, did they? Or is that
No,
just
because
me?
he's trying to bang her.
Yeah, right. It's not about
he
the.
does not give a shit what she thinks. He's trying. He's there for one purpose and one purpose only.
Yeah. Well, and what's really fascinating is Picard walks in as he's making out with her, right?
Who else thought when I'm like, watching this as we know Picard's heading there, and I'm thinking Picard's really gonna walk into them into one situation that I'm not gonna say right now because I got my kid in the
It's
car.
got very uncomfortable. Well, he walks in and Riker doesn't even like try to like, oh crap. He's just like, hey, here's my fake girlfriend.
Listen, Riker made some very interesting facial expressions during like that whole scene where she's talking to him in French and everything.
Uh-huh.
The raised eyebrows.
Riker's face
Yes.
was like, all right, well, if push comes to shove, I guess it's the three of us.
I'm sorry, Nick. I really thought for a second there
gosh.
they were setting this up for a Devil's Three-Way. Like, Jesus, what's going to happen in this episode?
Oh gosh, my child's on here.
This is the lost.
He's like not listening.
Oh, he's making a creepy smile and I don't like it.
It was only at what's her name with the blue hair?
Oh,
You.
Sid?
You.
What's her name with the
What's
blue
her
hair?
with
name?
the blue hair.
It's only like you've known me for your entire life.
The girl with the blue hair. Oh gosh. So, anyways, they're engaged.
Rob just got passed on the road.
I'm not speeding in Ohio.
Yeah, that's a good call. Don't speed in Ohio.
That's true.
There's no cops to catch you. There's no one living here.
Yeah.
So-
Everyone's dead from the nuclear waste.
So, do you think the Binars have programmed it where you cannot hear the red alert on the holodeck?
Probably.
did.
Because I would feel like
that was implied.
I'd feel like that'd be a safety issue
That
to
was
not
implied.
have.
Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
just that one program.
I was
'cause
wondering
that's
that
what they were
myself.
doing.
Like, why couldn't they hear the red alert on the holodeck?
They're trying to trap Riker in there, obviously.
Wait,
but
why did they
didn't want to alert him
Want
because then he
Riker,
would
not
react.
anyone else.
That's what they were
Data.
doing on the
Right.
panel after they were in there.
Well, and they said later they're like, we just wanted to track Riker, and then Picard came in, and that was like it made it easier. It's like you weren't ever going to get Picard off that ship. What were you expecting to do?
Right. Like why?
Like, how are you going to get rid of him?
If
Their
your goal
plans-
was to like hide something, like in the programs, why wouldn't you want to keep Data on the ship instead of Riker?
And also, Binars, if you went to the Federation and said, hey, there's an EMP going to strike, we need your help, they would have helped. So there's a little something to this.
I love the answer. Like, why didn't you just ask us? And they, because you could have said no. And I'm like, that was kind of funny.
I mean, they could have said no, but they weren't going to because it's the Federation, and they kind of like, especially in the early seasons of TNG, they really set up the Federation as being this perfect utopia, right? Right. So they would have helped. It wouldn't have been a big deal.
I do want to talk about how underwhelming the solution was, though.
Oh, what?
Just talk to Data and then like put it into the computer, just random binary, and then it works, and then they download it on the computer.
Data was like, here's the code. It's probably binary, and they just sit down, and then Riker was like, oh, it's binary. It probably takes two of us. and then Picard sits down, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess so. That was it.
And they're like, Picard sits down. They're like, three's a crowd. Get out, John Luke.
They really did burn up screen time with Riker's conquest.
How do you like it when early on in the episode where Picard or Riker calls the binaries him or her, and they're like, no, they're binaries, not him or hers, but then Picard keeps on calling them gentlemen, or Riker keeps on calling them gentlemen, gentlemen.
He's misgendering them.
And then Riker's like, challenge accepted.
They need to cancel Riker.
Riker and Picard are the everyman in this episode.
They really are. They really are just screwing it up every single time, and non-apologetic at that, which is really unfortunate.
But really, it was unintentional. It was just a generic term.
You can unintentionally do something, but still apologize for it.
No, if you don't mean.
If I misgender someone, if someone says it's her. I prefer her, and I say, oh, sorry, sir. Oops, sorry, and it really was an accident. I'm going to apologize.
Nah, don't do it.
What?
Never admit to fault.
You're a coward.
You're a coward. You're admitting to fault.
You're a coward for not being brave enough to admit when you're wrong.
I don't have that kind of time. I'd be wrong all the time. Yeah, you'd have to be wrong, so.
Oh, gosh, we're not going to get... okay, so some other things here. Wesley gets full control of the freaking bridge.
Yeah.
Wesley's the only one on the bridge. And Riker's like, just stare at them, please. Just continue staring.
Well, you know we were heading there. You know we were heading there.
Good for him.
I'm kind of happy that Wesley... Because they never, like... Wesley's initial looks at them implied that Wesley thought something was fishy about them. But
of course he did, because he's Wesley.
But no, they didn't go that route with him. Because Riker comes in, and Riker is the one who says he finds them suspicious.
No, Riker didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
He felt like there was something up.
No.
Yes.
No.
He did say that.
Yes.
No. Listen to me.
No.
Wesley said to Riker.
No.
Wesley said to Riker, it sounds like you don't believe them.
Yeah. And he says,
okay.
Yeah, I kind of don't.
Correct.
Yeah,
No. What I'm saying is Wesley goaded it out of Riker.
No.
So, yes, he did.
No.
He asked the question.
Bro, you say
Riker
something...
thought it in the first place.
Yeah, dude, you say something suspicious, and I'd be like, that sounds suspicious. That doesn't mean I'm, like, digging it out of you. I'm just saying that's what it sounds like to me.
What I'm saying is Riker didn't just say, oh, they sound suspicious. Wesley said...
Are you over semantics?
Yes.
Apologize.
Oh my God!
Yes, I am.
Shut up.
Apologize.
Yes, I am.
Apologize.
I thought you were my Chipotle buddy.
You guys are morons. Listen, who has the front seat?
Oh,
I do.
I'm gonna start kicking your seat.
Who let you have the front seat?
Nobody.
I
I
did.
took it.
No.
Rip Cody.
Who's Cody? Oh, that's too soon, I think.
Oh yeah.
Too soon. Looks like Cody was a hockey player. Rip Cody.
Was.
Dude.
Wow.
Not
Too
cool.
soon.
Taking a picture of that.
Not cool. Not cool. Okay, so I appreciate, though, like I know you said the solution was easy, EB, and I get it. It really was a super easy solution. But at the same time, it wasn't Wesley, so I'm okay with it.
Why do you hate Wesley?
Because Wesley sucks, and he needs to
doesn't
shut
suck.
up.
He does not suck.
Yes, he kind of.
No, he doesn't.
They wrote him poorly.
In the first season.
They wrote him very poorly.
I'm somewhere in between the two. I don't think he sucks.
Yeah, he does.
But he doesn't need to be this wonder kid that he knows everything.
I'm forever a Wesley Crusher
He's
defender.
special. Haven't you seen that one episode?
Don't you feel like we would have to ask Will Wheaton, but like I know he left for other reasons.
The phone is gone.
From the show. What is this? Oh, this was another one recording?
But, okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, how is it recording like that?
Without
No,
being yelled
that's
at.
watching him now.
Where was it recording?
It was like, all right.
Fix it, Eli.
I don't know.
Fix it, Eli.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's recording us. Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on. Without being yelled at, I want to go back to my point.
Shut up!
No,
My-
you're.
The point
We've
was,
moved on.
No, the point was that they made it seem like
Shut up,
Wesley was the intuitive one. Wesley was the intuitive one and knew that Riker was suspicious.
He
Not
was
that-
intuitive of Riker. He wasn't intuitive about the Binars.
Then hold on.
That's different.
I'm absolutely serious. If you can't see this, then you need to shut up about critiquing. Then you need to shut up about critiquing Wesley, because that is absolutely right in line with everything else that he's always the intuitive one. He knows when everybody's suspicious, or he knows when everything's going on. It fits right in line with the rest of his writing, and if you can't see that, I feel bad for you. He was the intuitive one. Riker wasn't like, they're suspicious.
Should we just agree with him to move on?
Okay, I agree
Yeah.
with Joe on the fact
feel
that
like-
Wesley is intuitive, but I do
He's
think that
intuitive,
Riker
but-
did come to his own conclusion
intuitive
before that.
because
He
Riker
just
he
didn't
had
voice
already
it.
come to his conclusion.
He just didn't voice it, and so you know what?
That's
like-
what. That's what. I guess
Yeah.
we're arguing over the same thing. Like,
Literally.
Except you guys are wrong.
Except
Oh
you're
my-
wronger.
You just have like an incessant need to be hated.
hi, Sydney.
No, not not incessant.
Just by
It's
by
it's
a
more of
couple of women in his life.
It's more of a desire.
I could name one or two women.
I'm only hated by one, probably.
Yeah, I mean that's
And
true.
Sydney.
And me.
Well,
Yeah.
are you saying Sydney isn't a woman? That was
I'm
rude.
just saying Sydney's included.
I'm saying Sydney.
Every woman.
I'm saying Sydney doesn't hate me.
Sydney.
I'm not
That's
saying
debatable.
I'm not saying she likes
That's
me.
real debatable.
I'm saying she doesn't hate me.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I've been told
I
that.
love how Ohio has drive-through liquor stores. That's just like. Can we just encourage more drunk driving,
That's
Ohio?
a good idea, though.
No, it's not. Huh? Yeah, and
I
we
want to
got
drive through dollar
and we
store.
got rid of them because it encourages what? Drunk driving.
I thought we
Third
weren't going to
base
go off
drive-through.
topic.
Okay.
I thought we were going to go off topic.
Yes, we are not. Okay, so heading back to on topic. What was I saying before this?
Nothing of importance. Go
No,
on.
I was
You were
talking about-
hating on Wesley.
No, oh
hating on
gosh,
Wesley.
I totally
Wesley
lost it
deserves
now. I totally lost it. I feel like I was talking about
It was
data.
we were
being
talking about the
solution.
underwhelming the underwhelming
Underwhelming
solution.
Yes, the solution was quite underwhelming. But also, it would
quick
make
chat.
sense that Data would be the one who solve it as an android who speaks that language.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it also was just a quick chat.
Yeah, it was literally like, "Hey, what do you think's going on here?" He's like, "It's probably." He just rifled through every possible solution. It's like a password. It's probably binary.
Stop snarfling like a dog.
I was gonna sneeze on air, so I blocked it in. Are you trying to get this back up? Yep. There you go.
I'm sorry.
But I do feel like they kind of wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah,
They just built too much story,
and they ran out
and
of
they
time.
kind of ran out of it, and
Yeah.
it's
So what are you supposed to do, right?
yeah.
Make a
like-
two-parter.
No.
This is before they were doing that, though.
I don't think the storyline
First one
was
was.
In
warranted.
fact,
of a
I don't
two-parter.
think Next Generation has a two-parter until season 3.
The first one.
The first episode, the pilot.
That was that was not a two-parter.
That
That was a
was-
one
well,
episode that
you're
they
right.
made in the two.
You're right.
episodes.
was one
In
and two.
syndication, they broke it up.
Oh.
Right. So I don't think they have a two-parter until the Best of Both Worlds. But I could be wrong.
But you guys have always said that Next Generation wasn't really that kind of a Star Trek show. It was very much like singular episodic television.
Yeah.
New
yeah.
place, new adventure.
Yeah.
Which I like. And I think that that's like something that Star Trek shows should be. They should be episodic. They should have some sort of storyline going on throughout the season, but
Yeah,
mostly.
Strange New Worlds.
You didn't like Deep Space Nine? How
I haven't watched Deep Space Nine. I
parent-
watched like the first
parenting
4
fail.
episodes.
Joe, how many series of Star Trek have you watched all the way through?
That's like a good question.
Yeah, that's. I'm not on trial here. I don't have to answer to you.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, goodness.
All the way through?
Series
all the
going.
way through.
What am I, some kind of fucking nerd? One. I watched one.
One all the way
Deep-
through.
Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
Siri's gonna repeat all that you said.
Yeah, it is.
Siri's going.
Siri's talking.
They're
right now.
listening. They're
It's
always watching.
Anything else by 11001101?
I think the episode was a good idea, poor execution. I don't know.
I wouldn't
I
say
concur.
poor execution, but I'd say not
It
great.
could be better. It could be better.
It could be better. It could be better. What do you think?
I'm waving to somebody in a car. They're watching us record.
Hi.
That's them up
Wouldn't
there.
it be awesome if we could like get them to talk on our podcast?
They did wave back though.
Rob, you
And
need
on
to give
my
up on that camera. It's
Yeah.
not working for you, buddy.
Rob,
Why do you need
Why do
it?
you need it?
We need you to drive and not kill us.
Well, you don't need the audio. You can just pull it from this. The audio's gone, my friend. Just give it up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where you can pull it from.
So let's rate this episode, shall we?
No, we rate them at the end, both of them.
No, that's a good point. Next episode. What is it?
Nick doesn't. He doesn't listen to our podcast or watch the episodes.
What is this? What is this next episode called? I don't have my laptop in front of me.
A season too short.
A season too short. All right.
Just see.
What?
Too short a season.
Too short a season.
Too short a season. So this episode is as follows. Old Admiral boards the Enterprise because he's going to be a peacekeeper negotiator on a planet. They've specifically requested him to negotiate. This dude is old. He's like 1,000 years old.
Ancient.
And he's got a disease called Iverson's disease.
Allen Iverson's
which means he doesn't like working on a team and he hates practice. And also he shoots 35% and he's somehow rated one of the best basketball players of all time. So can we talk about that on a different podcast about how he's not that good? All right. So anyways, they call him in to negotiate. And as they get closer and closer to this planet to negotiate, this guy is aging backwards, bro. He's like starts off super old, and as they get closer and closer to the planet, he's getting younger. Turns out he's been taking this special alien serum to get younger, and he takes like double the dose before he gets to the planet because he wants to be at his peak to negotiate this final deal. The problem is, as he's getting closer to this planet to make this deal, he's becoming more and more of a prick. So he's mean to like the whole Enterprise crew. And he acts like he knows everything, but he kind of screws up everything. Then he beams down to the planet, and it turns out that the original negotiation was screwed up years ago because he was there, and he gave guns to this civilization that shouldn't have had them, and it was 40 years of war because of him. So the one guy's like, if you die, I'll be happy. And then he dies, and the episode ends.
That seems uneventful.
Snooze fest.
Right? I mean, is that really what happened or what?
No.
Basically.
Allen Iverson is a career 42.5% field goal a shooter.
And the era of no defense.
Listen, he shot 31% from 3, and he shot almost 45% from, and he was a 78% free throw shooter. Averaged almost 27 points a game over his career.
Okay.
How dare you speak poorly?
Bro averaged 27 points a game because he was never on good teams, so he's hoisting up the ball all the time. That's being
Listen,
like,
they
Cade
made the
Cunningham is a
finals.
great basketball player.
He took the Philadelphia 76ers to the finals.
Did they win it?
No, they got smoked by the Lakers.
There you go, sir. There you go, sir.
Although he did step over Ty Lue in
Yes.
an iconic shot.
Yes, he did.
In one of the most disrespectful plays in the history of NBA basketball.
I will say this. Allen Iverson was a good basketball player. I would not say he's a great basketball player. He's still Hall of Fame for that era, but he's not great. Like, you put him against one of the greats, he would not hold up.
Against Jordan.
He crossed over Jordan pretty badly, too. in
Yeah,
his rookie
Jordan was
seasons.
old and dying at that point. Jordan was like...
It was the 96-97 season when, hold on, I'll wait for it.
They
The
won.
Bulls won the NBA championship.
Okay, he crossed over Jordan once, and we're like, oh, he was the same player as Jordan? There's plenty of players who made...
Nobody said he was the same player as Jordan.
You did. Sorry, I threw a bottle.
Why are you? What is your obsession with throwing edible things?
Is a plastic bottle edible? I'm very
It's a
concerned.
drink. It's a drink.
No, it's empty. It's not edible. A drink isn't edible, is it?
This is the review that this episode deserves. This
eat
is not.
it.
This is not.
You
the,
eat the
I
drink.
thought we
You
said-
drink the drink.
Rule number 1 of this recording is we don't get off topic.
Yes,
Well, I
good
don't
point.
really
Thank you.
care.
Thank
I don't
you.
really
No.
care
Thank you.
because
No.
I
All
want
right.
to unpack why you throw food at people.
That's a hard subject to get into. I don't
Nick,
want
you
to talk
need,
about
you
it.
need to talk to your son. Rule number 1 was we don't overtalk each other.
We don't overtalk each other. That's correct. We
That's
can go
also
off.
not going well.
We can,
No,
no, we're doing pretty good
We're
about
all
that.
staying on the same subject. We're doing pretty well
When
with
we
the overtalking.
disrespect one another, we get quiet so we can hear the disrespect. Right?
Yes, we can soak in it. We can absorb it.
Yeah, yeah. When I say you guys suck, you hear it. Not you,
You
Eli.
guys,
You're
speaking
cool.
of sucking, you guys said this episode sucked, and I didn't find it that bad.
I never
actually
watched
liked
it.
I liked it better than the first than the 1011.
You liked it better?
Well, I liked it way better.
Oh, see, I liked the first episode better.
I think mostly because I really enjoyed watching it Mystery Science Theater 3000 style,
In the
driving
car.
in the car.
I do have to say that while I was driving to Sandusky and you were watching it, giving live commentary, not truly appreciating that you were giving live commentary, it was completely enjoyable for me.
I think my favorite was when you started referring to him as Benjamin Button.
Oh,
And-
yeah. Once I realized he had Benjamin Button disease, I was like, okay, what's going on here?
And then you start looking for what's her name, Kate. What is her name? Oh man, she was in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button with Brad Pitt. Why am I blanking on her name? She also played what's her name in
Winslet?
Thor. No, she was in not Kate Moss, not Kate Winslet, not Kate Capshaw, not Kate Beckinsale. It's probably
Oh my
not.
god,
even,
I know who you're talking about.
It's probably not even Kate. She was
John
in
and
Thor.
Kate.
She played the bad guy in Thor.
No, oh my god.
The third Thor.
John and Kate
Yeah,
plus
Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, yes.
Yeah.
And she was in Lord of the Rings, and she's incredible. I love Kate Blanchett. Oh, she's incredible. All right.
Fun fact, she didn't wear makeup in Lord of the Rings.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I would be blown away by that because she was gorgeous. She is gorgeous, actually. Okay, so I don't want to say I hated this episode. I think the problems I have with it are the actor for the Admiral. First of all, his makeup is terrible.
It looked like Biff from Back to the Future, too. Old Biff.
Well, and his old people voice is really bad, too.
I only watched 10 minutes of the episode, and the makeup was really bad.
Yeah, it was so bad he fell asleep during
But I
it.
like the floating chair.
The floating...
He was just really bad at acting old.
It was like an X-Men chair. It was like Professor X
Right?
chair.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Okay, so Back to the Future 2 came out in 1989, and I believe this episode came out in 1988, early 88.
Okay.
So I just think the late 80s, the prosthetics for making younger people look old
Yeah.
was shit.
That is true, because when we have the DS9 episodes where they're old, they don't look that bad.
They look a little better.
Oh, gentlemen, we're about to make it back to pure Michigan.
In the episode where Bashir aged
5.
he did look
Lower.
terrible.
3.
The makeup job was terrible.
2. 1.
One half.
Welcome to Michigan! Woo!
Back
Take
in the
me
land
down
of the
to
holy.
the pothole city where the roads are crap and the snow is pretty. Oh, won't you please take me
Welcome back to the Holy Land.
We almost made this episode without Nick singing, actually.
I've sung a couple times, sir.
Did you? I was ignoring you.
You've missed it. You've missed it. Take me home to the pothole city where the roads are crap and the
Okay,
snow
but the
is
actor.
pretty.
You freestyle
I just
that?
don't think he was good at playing old.
Yeah.
'Cause the way he moved when he was old was also like his head
It
was freaking me
felt very
freaking me out.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yes.
His body still moved young. Although he did show up like Professor X
Yes.
in that badass wheelchair. It looked like he showed up in part of a sectional couch.
Yeah, it was like it was a block.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty cool.
It looked like a lazy boy on wheels is what he showed up in.
It did. It did.
And
Which,
it was just missing a cup holder and a TV remote.
which can
Okay,
you
but would
blame
you
him?
not want a lazy boy on wheels?
Oh no, that was a badass wheelchair. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
I would totally.
It wasn't even a wheelchair. It was floating.
I'll get Allen Iverson disease for that. Iverson disease isn't real, right? This is a made-up disease for the show.
Well, we don't know that because what if Allen Iverson gets a disease between now and the end of his
Oh,
life?
my
Oh,
gosh.
man.
They were prophetic.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Was the disease being a selfish basketball player?
Yes.
Oh, darn it.
You get the disease at practice.
Well, you got to show up to it first. That's the problem. You don't show up to practice.
I thought this episode was unintentionally hilarious.
Well, I think that's what makes it bad, though.
I know, but I thought so
The plot is there's good meat on the bone here.
yeah, but you really don't get to it until the
Last
the
15
third
minutes.
like the third act because you don't really realize what he's done until like 2/3 through the episode,
Right.
and then you realize that he basically set this whole thing up by providing the weapons of war to both sides,
Yes.
and
In a
with-
violation of the Prime Directive, right? Because they
Yeah.
were not advanced enough at that point in time.
No.
So he comes there and he's like, the one guy, to get him to be cool, right? He's like, here's some weapons, be cool. But then behind his back, he goes to the other side and says, here's some weapons, be cool. for some reason, thinking that, hey, I both gave you destructive weapons. You're going to be at peace.
And then what happens? They go to war.
They go to war,
40
and he
years.
thought it would be 2 years or so, he says. I thought it would be a year or two of war, and it turns out it was 40.
I thought they'd tire each other out, killing one another.
And they didn't. They just enjoyed it way too much. So you're right, though. A big part of it is pacing, because like it feels like for the first 30 minutes of the episode, they're like, look at this guy. He's old. He's so old. Like, I feel like that's the first 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden they start de-aging him.
Yeah.
And it happens pretty quick.
I was waiting for him to become turn into Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Where he's just like a toddler in a Federation uniform, bossing everybody around.
You shall have peace and a diaper change. And you're like, sir, you're 25 years old. You don't need a diaper change.
I thought it was a shitty move to not
literally
not
diaper
de-age
change.
his wife too.
Yeah, and then he says he did it for her, and he took her dose of the medicine.
I did it for us.
I did it for us.
No, you didn't. You did it for you. Otherwise, you'd make your wife hot again.
Well, this seems like a trope that Star Trek uses a lot. The Admiral who's past his prime and who's looking to live one last time on one last adventure. In fact, they do that with Kirk in multiple movies. Actually, almost every single movie that's with Kirk, is it not?
Say it again.
Where the Admiral who's past his prime gets promoted off a starship but wants to go back onto a starship and live out his glory days.
I don't think Kirk was ever out of his prime.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Bro.
Star Trek 6.
He ain't bringing it in like he used to. He's past his prime.
He got in Star Trek 6.
Was a shape-shifting alien who was not even human.
He got the chick from Seven Heaven in Star Trek 4.
Seven Heaven chick. Oh, yeah, no, that was in the
mom
past.
from Seventh Heaven, yeah.
That was 19 years earlier when he wasn't past his prime, Kirk. He was past his prime.
Kirk is always in his prime
No,
because he's got
false.
that mindset, man.
False. Dude, he doesn't got that mindset in most of the movies. That's part of the plot of the movies.
He just wants to get back on a bridge.
Yeah, but that's part of the plot is like he's lost his mojo and he wants it back. So he wants to be back on the Starship Enterprise. That's where he gets his mojo. Same thing with
got her groove back.
Yeah, exactly.
Kirk got his groove back.
That's what the Admiral wanted as well. He wanted his groove back.
The Admiral's new groove.
The Admiral's groove, baby. Shake your moo, baby.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. So, we got the Admiral negotiating this peace treaty, and he immediately comes on the ship, and he's like, Picard, I have control. You don't get anything. You control the ship, but I control your people, which means I can get them killed. And Picard's like, okay, bro, we cool. And then he immediately takes him on, like, basically a suicide mission into the tunnels and says, I know these tunnels from 40 years ago. Okay.
He's leading him to dead end after dead end.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this guy's having a stroke every 15 minutes.
I know, exactly. Let's trust the stroke man.
He's like, yeah, this guy, literally in his quarters with his wife, he just had a stroke. 3 minutes later, he's on the bridge like, I'm going to arm everybody. We're going to go take the hostages back.
Right, exactly. That's not someone I'm trusting at that moment in time, you know?
Although at that point, he was like 25 again.
Yeah, at that point, you're like, okay, he can lead me. I don't know. So let's have a real conversation here. I mean, this has all been a real conversation. But I want to talk about this Prime Directive thing, okay? So we're led to believe that there's two civilizations at war here on this planet, correct? And
Yes, sir.
And the one civilization is basically saying, if you don't arm us with weapons, we're going to wipe out the other civilization.
No, didn't he have hostages?
Oh, yes.
And part of the negotiation was to get the hostages back, to give them weapons, which Starfleet said no, but this guy didn't decide on his own to go ahead and give it both sides.
Yes. So the guy
Again, Nick doesn't watch the episode.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. But this is two civilizations at war, and the guy says, "Look, I'll kill all these people if you don't give me guns." Okay. All right. So here's your people. So here's some guns to kill people, right? And then to cancel it out, he gives these guns to the other people, and he says in his mind, he was still following the Prime Directive. Discuss.
Quote, my interpretation of the Prime Directive.
Yeah, that's what he said. Because that was what I was saying, is like, the Prime Directive is not open to interpretation, is it?
Should not be.
No, this isn't like Pirates of the Caribbean where it's like guidelines.
Whoa.
It's like a strict set of rules.
What is the Prime Directive?
To do no harm. I don't know. I don't know if we've ever directly heard what the Prime Directive is.
I think a lot of it is don't interfere with other species, especially if they don't have warp capability.
Right, and don't give them technologies that are ahead of their time.
Right. So basically, don't put our rules down on somebody else.
Yes. So would that include weapons, though? Right?
Yes.
Like,
If it's advanced technology, then yes. But if they have it, I guess not.
Prime Directive. No.
Go ahead.
This is from a captain's log thing. It says no identification of self or mission, no interference with social development of said planet, no references to space, other worlds, or advanced civilizations.
Well, yeah, that's part of.
They did interfere
Wikipedia.
with.
This is from Wikipedia,
their development.
Section 1 of the Prime Directive. Starfleet crew will obey the following with any civilization that has not achieved a commensurate level of technological and or societal development as described in Appendix 1. And that's what you went.
Yes.
No identification of self or mission, all the things you just listed.
Yeah. So he totally violates the Prime Directive while saying he did not violate the Prime Directive. Because it's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, he interpreted it so he could violate it and come out the hero getting those hostages or whatever they were out.
But obviously he didn't even believe in what he said because then he lied about it in his logs.
Oh, yeah.
Because
exactly.
if you truly believe in your interpretation of the Prime Directive, double down on it, man. Like, believe in it. Report it to Starfleet.
That's how he justified his behaviors. I interpreted it this way, and of course he knew he was wrong because you're late. He lied about the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't lie about something when you know you're in the wrong. Because then, if he would have told them the truth and he could have justified it, maybe the Federation changes their rules of the Prime Directive. They wouldn't, because he was totally wrong in what he did. But
Okay, so, we're going to... I don't believe we've watched the season 1 episode Symbiosis.
Not yet.
Not yet. So
No.
in there, Picard states, quote, "The Prime Directive is not just a set of rules, it is a philosophy, and a very correct one. History has proven again and again that whenever mankind interferes with a less developed civilization..."
Humankind. Sexist.
No, he said mankind.
I know he did,
Oh.
but he's sexist.
That would be racist.
Humankind versus mankind? Sexist.
If you said humankind, that'd be
Nope.
racist against people who aren't humans.
Yeah, but Picard's a human. He's talking about humankind.
If he's talking about specifically humans, then yeah, I guess.
All right, anyways, go ahead, Joe.
History has proven again and again that whenever mankind
Humankind.
interferes with a less developed civilization, no matter how well-intentioned that interference may be, the results are invariably disastrous.
Mm-hmm. Amen, brother. Amen.
Which is, if you take that at its face value, what Benjamin Button did is in direct conflict with that. With that.
I will say some of the early seasons of Enterprise are an absolute blast because there is no Prime Directive yet, and Archer just basically goes and does whatever he wants to do on these planets, and then they slowly start to realize, wait, maybe we should be careful.
Is that why they developed it? They're like, all right, we got to get this guy in
well,
check.
it's kind of the case, man. Archer is kind of like a wild card with a lot of what he does, so you got to keep him in check.
When does Enterprise take place, Steven?
Before the original series. Like 100 years before the original series. Yeah.
So like soon in
like
the future.
60 years before Strange New Worlds.
So like soon in the future.
2200-ish?
Oh, never mind, not soon.
2200-ish.
I thought that would be like 2100.
No, World War III still got to happen.
There's World War III in Star Trek?
Yeah,
Alright.
that's what leads to it. You got to watch Star Trek First Contact, my dude.
Listen,
Alright.
in the timeline of pop culture, we haven't even made it to the Jetsons yet. The Jetsons is like 2062.
Right, exactly.
So-
But here's the thing. We've already made it past the era of the districts, the sanctuary cities in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
So we're somewhere between Sanctuary Cities and Deep Space Nine.
Well, the
and
Irish
Jetsons.
reunification is happening this year, according to data.
That is true. Oh, gosh.
I'm excited for that.
And
The
they
Irish
have-
what?
they act-
Reunification. I'm
they-
excited.
They actually have talked about that there, too. Yeah, so maybe. Fingers crossed.
See it happen. Woo!
Fingers crossed, but that means we have to get through World War III,
Well, yeah, but like,
which means we'll all be dead. And Khan will dominate us and kill a lot of us.
We'll be fine.
I mean, no, we will not be. We'll be dead.
You know who's
I'm
going to
cool with that.
survive? The people that live by that
Khan's
nuclear
an old
power
man.
plant.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be unstoppable. They are actually the first people. They're the SS Botany Bay right there, baby. They're ready to go. So, there are some interesting nuggets in this one. Picard's deference to an admiral that he clearly knows is wrong is another reminder of how devoted Picard is to the chain of command, right? Because would you agree that Picard's like, this guy is crazy?
Oh, for sure. It's the structure.
And yet he's still sending his crew to die until he's like, no, I'm going on this mission too. Because if they're going to die, I'm dying with them, kind of a thing. I think
ultimately Picard kind of wanted them to be right subconsciously, so he gives into the chain of command, and plus he's a captain. He recognizes his role in that position.
But
how insane was it that Picard went with him, by the way?
Right. After Riker.
He knew this guy was on basically a kamikaze mission. He's dying in reverse.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to hook my chain to this guy.
Yeah. If I'm going to go.
How did Riker not bust more of a nut over it? I mean, seriously, like throw a fit.
Well, because you got
he was still refracting from the previous episode.
Because you got, exactly. There you go. Well, because
how far away is that power plant versus the Fermi?
Yeah, that's a lot further away.
That one's still too close, though. I can see the smoke billowing out.
I can see the smokestack. I can see the radiation piling out. So one of the things that I think Star Trek has not done a good job of, or maybe has, I don't know, is showing that once you become an admiral, you're an idiot. Because almost every single admiral they show in Star Trek has no clue what they're doing.
A lot of them, yes. But you got Admiral Ross, you had Admiral Kirk, so on, so on, so on.
Admiral Kirk loses his job because he was what? An idiot. He stole the Enterprise, bro.
He was always an idiot.
Stole the Enterprise, saved Earth, stopped Khan.
That's all according to your point of view. And my alternative facts, he didn't have to do what he did.
To save the world, they had to save Spock ultimately. Spock's the one that put the computations in Star Trek 4 into the Bird of Prey.
That's really
in
true.
Order to save
That's really true.
Earth.
Welcome
There's
to
your
Earth.
facts.
That is and he trusted his gut, right?
Nick didn't watch the movies either.
No, he didn't. He didn't. That's actually a good point, though.
Ooh,
I like
him.
that one.
Got him.
You got me.
In your face, Nick.
You got me, boo. You got me, boo. I appreciate that about
Put Nick
you.
in his place.
But most admirals do suck in Star Trek.
Yeah, they do.
That's true.
And
They all look old as dirt too.
Well, and I kind of don't appreciate that. Again, if you're trying to show like how far civilization has advanced, the higher the rank shouldn't mean the more of an asshole you become.
It's lazy writing. You need to villainize somebody, and rather than be creative, you go to someone who has hierarchy.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, cool. Anything else from this episode, folks?
This was a fun episode to watch and give live commentary. And roast every aspect of it.
Joe, you might need to do a reaction video watching like next week's episode, and we should put it on YouTube.
A Mystery Science Theater episode?
Absolutely. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
It's something to consider. It's something to
I
consider.
had a lot of fun.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
My final thing to say about this episode is it was so bad I fell asleep in 10 minutes.
Okay. Amen, brother.
That's real.
That's real. Okay. Let's go to the rating scale, ladies and gentlemen. 110121461. Let's start with that one. Out of 10 pips, how many pips do you give it? Pip, pip, cheerio?
1. No, I give it a 3.5.
3.5 out of 10?
3.
3 out of 10. Wow.
4.
4 out of 10. I'm like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
I don't know if they've talked about this on the show before, but I've been loving this season. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right, Eli.
Okay, to be fair though, he doesn't know how good it's gonna get. So like, I think like a few of our visions are clouded by the. It's like in comparison, we're like, oh.
There is some truth to that, right? It
Okay.
hurts.
Okay.
That kid's a bum. You got to throw him out, Nick.
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Out of 10, what do you rate it?
I like this episode. I would give this a 6.5.
What?
Whoa!
I liked
Whoa, bro, stuff.
it. Listen, we had serious discussion.
Yes.
It brought up a serious point.
Yes.
I thought the plot was very interesting. It was,
Yes.
I mean, it predates Benjamin Button, aging in reverse.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true.
You know, the aesthetics and the prosthetics and the makeup and everything left a lot to be desired. But it was
Okay.
1988. I don't really care about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very interesting plot that wasn't executed to perfection.
Yeah.
But I would rewatch it again.
Okay. Robert?
I'm going to go exactly like I did the last episode. 3.
3. I think I'm a 3-5.
It was a brutal watch for me, man.
It was a brutal. I'm never rewatching this episode unless
3.
I have to. 3 for Sid?
I give this an Ensign out of 10 / a 1 out of 10.
You can't. He can't.
Okay,
he
okay.
He saw 10 minutes of it. His ranking is kind
And
of.
the 10 minutes were 1 out of 10.
What
An NCIT out of 10.
Yeah.
An NCO out of 10.
You guys are absolute morons.
You're an absolute moron.
Shut up.
Who do you think you are?
Somebody who watched it objectively.
What gives you the right?
I'm holding in the microphone.
That's a good
Shut up,
point.
Joe.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley. Yeah. Wesley. Nah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning into our lovely podcast today. Give us a call, ladies and gentlemen. 734-494-0980. We'd love your calls. We'd love your texts.
We don't have the capabilities to do listener feedback this week, so we're going to push all of our listener feedback from the previous week and this week to next week's episode.
Yeah, so sorry, we're on the road, which made it kind of difficult to do that. So,
and if you've made it this far, please. I mean, obviously, you are the Uber fan if you've made it this far through this hot garbage episode. Do us a favor, wherever you are listening, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, wherever you get it, please take a second and rate and review. Maybe leave a comment or leave a review of the podcast. It helps the show out. It helps. It helps the logarithm, the algorithm. It helps promote our show to more people.
yes.
And it helps out the show in so many ways. If you could rate and subscribe so you get the episodes when they come out, and leave a review. If you could do that, that'd be awesome. We would love it. And if you want to shout out, leave it in the comment and leave it in the review, and we'll read it and we'll shout you out.
It was the longest way
It
to
was-
say leave a
wow.
review.
Wow.
I like to give everybody a little bit more.
Wow.
I like
Wow.
We haven't had a review in a year, so I appreciate that, Joe.
Yep.
On some platforms.
So anyways,
Wow.
we'd love to have you. Follow us on social media, keeping_up_Cardassians, at Cardassians Pod on Twitter. We love you. This was Nick.
This is Rob.
This was Joe. This was a nightmare.
This is Sydney.
This is Eli.
We love you all. Take care. Thanks for keeping up with us. Bye.